Thank you, Stefan. And as I said to somebody, it's always unexpected to me to be there because I have lots of ideas coming and coming and coming, and at one moment I have to stop, bring things together. How long? What is the time that I have? 2 hours? Uh, well, tell me. Well, I will go as fast as I can. Oh, I know, but I can continue a few minutes. Well, I'm very glad to be here. Thank you, Stefan, for organizing everything. Thank you, Lionel and his team for the fabulous software we have and the fact that with Hellixia, it's another dimension with Bayesian networks. Well, I will present myself quickly. So I love this AI human bridge builder and strategic potential hacker. Thank you, ChatGPT. This is what I am. And as I had questions last time. Well, I would say for certain years, I found that it is useful for somebody to have masters, kind of people who can lead him in. And so I met Lionel one time, and I learned, and it was very, very nice. I met a Qigong and Tai Chi professor. I met Cyril, who is a French traductor of I Ching, and I met Edith, who is a doctor who invented a method of mental preparation for French army. And they were all my teachers, and now they are my friends, so I'm very happy to that. My statement, it was what I put it in my abstract. So we will take an old book, a passage of an old book. We will take top of the edge AI tool, and we will see what if there is oracle in I Ching or if it is a structured things we have. So I will start with this sentence, and you shall not drink from a vessel whose bottom you cannot see. And I think that's in all we can hear about AI, etc. We are really in a moment of discernment. We need to have discernment on things. And it is not so easy. So let's go back to the future, a brief recap of my last talk. The I Ching originates in people who want to know how to move with their shelter, and then went to the emperor as a classical book. It is the first classical book in China, and it is the book where it is written for the first time yin and yang principle. What is it made of? It is made of 64 hexagrams. Each hexagram represents a strategy of action in the world. So when you are facing a moment, you can go and see what would the wisdom person do and what the situation can have as consequences, etc. So we will see that. I told that last time. I won't spend more time here. And from the Occidental point of view, our ChatGPT, etc., well, they came from a gambling game. They came from gambling from a card party where Pascal wanted to know how to share the game before the play ends. So probability arises like that. So we can see it is not the same basis for the two things. And then we can see that we have in nature things occurs. For example, loss goes doesn't come from anywhere. It is a representation of lots of small things, small perturbations that occur, some binomial perturbations that will construct that. And then we also spoke about the fact that all those two methods, those two conceptions of the world, make us realize that behind the things there is a kind of form, a kind of something that is there, even if we cannot predict everything. And what was a starting point of my last presentation was people who were afraid about throwing throwing coins to interrogate the I Ching. And I told them, well, in ChatGPT, you have billions of coin throwing every day. So it is very curious to have a problem with one throw, but to be okay with billions. And Descartes told us, well, the rationality, when you are lost somewhere and you don't know where to go, is to call the chance and then to follow your road. So what is Bayesian networks? I love these citations of Stuart Russell. Bayesian networks are as important to AI and machine learning as Boolean circuits are to computer science. And it is, and my question is always, why isn't it learned as a basis in computing studies? Very, very interesting. This is a slide from Michael Thompson. Maybe it is not taught because it is at the confluence of a lot of topics. I don't know. The next thing is about that. I love this this one from Lionel. I saw it hundreds of times. And I think it's really what we have to do for discernment. The title of this painting is, do you know what it is? Ceci n'est pas une pipe. This is not a pipe. Is it true? Is it fake? Well, it is a model of a pipe. And so all the question is how you model the world. At one moment, things are true. This conception of the world on the top left was true. And it was perfect at one moment. And it is perfect for teaching children. But if you want to send humans on Mars, it doesn't work. So it is a model at one moment useful. So as we all know, all models are wrong, but some are useful. And all is a matter of the sunglasses you wear. How do you want to see the world? Do you want to see the world with I Ching? Do you want to see the world with Hellixia? Do you want to see the world with, what? Do you know, do you have this consciousness of the sunglasses you wear? And at least that map is very powerful to me also because it explains in 4 quadrants, it is the basis of BayesiaLab for me, how things work. And we will see in the study a part of semantic analysis and a part of causal analysis. So there is one for observation and one for action. And we always need human intervention for causation, like design experiments, etc. And BayesiaLab can cover all the spectrum. Just a parenthesis here. It is something that always intrigues me, the Monty Hall. You have 3 doors, you open, well, I will not tell you the history. I will just ask you a question. Imagine there is 1 billion behind one of these squares. I choose this door. then you know where the money is and you open the other doors. Should I change my choice? Of course, yes. No, it seems evident now. You have a lot of opportunities that felt. Well, go on the topic. I wanted to interrogate Hellixia about the strategy. But this was not so easy because for me, it's like a new paradigm. I am a statistician, and I was used to deal with tables. I need tables, I structure tables, I think on tables before my analysis. And now I have no table. I have a text. I have to write a text. And we will see the problematic I had. So my first question was, I want to explore the relationships between these concepts: decay, collapse, erosion, foundation, structure, timing, withdrawal, stillness, rebuilding, renewal, and transformation in a decision-making context. Okay. Go to Hellixia. And then, after a bunch of tests, I had this question. Do you see the difference between those two windows? Lionel? The title of the window. Only the title. Everything inside is the same. If you switch to the other one, you see the difference. Okay? So you have the same windows in one menu of BayesiaLab, and in the other one, you can choose words, keywords for semantic analysis, and you cannot for causal analysis. And this was kind of an epiphany, I tell to Lionel, because I was structuring my prompting like if I was doing SQL questions. And this is not the purpose here. We change, there is a big change of paradigm. Why? Let's go further. I was thinking about the first time I had my question, I want to split it in two questions: a semantical question and a causation question. A question with think about the objective, etc., etc., and the other, no, because it was a semantic. So I was thinking a lot about how to formulate of the best way my questions. And for the semantic, I had 10 keywords. For the presentation, I selected 5, etc. And I began thinking like this for the causation question. But as we saw, there is no room here for keywords. So why? Well, we will have the answer on the next one. When we ask, we call embeddings. We can select embeddings. We can select the LLM we want to create embeddings. So embeddings, I like a vector corresponding to a word. So you have a vector of 3,000 lines for embedding large, etc. So each word will create a table for an embeddings. And you can also give a context. So the context can be a knowledge file. So it will be the text of the I Ching, I will give it. And the general context, so my context was change management for my question. Just an important thing there, we will deal with causal semantic networks. This is not Bayesian networks, as Lionel said before, and there is a slight difference in the action we can do with the graph. So thinking about my question, I decided, well, decision-making context is too large, so periods of crisis and risk. Maybe it will be better. So explore relationships between, I went to how do, I want to be more large. Then a lot of questions, because yes, why? Because I was thinking about the best keywords for causation, as I had tried to think about the best keyword for semantic. And this is not possible in BayesiaLab. We can put a query, your question, you can give a context. This is only for causal one, and for semantic, you can add keywords and a number of responses per keyword. So you do not have that in causation, which will determine the graph complexity. So the number of selected keywords per the number of responses per keywords will give you the number of nodes. And the solution is here. The new paradigm is that we are not prompting a tool like SQL. We are prompting a tool to go in tables, etc., with a structure languages specific to that. Now the language is everywhere. It is the language of every day. So we are prompting an architecture. And behind the windows we see, there is the architecture of the LLMs that will take your question and, according to the parameterization of BayesiaLab, will find the best way to treat it, if it is a causal answer you want or if it is a semantic question you want. So this, how to say, this is perturbating to me, as I was always used to be very specific. When you have to write a SQL question, you have to be good. You do not, you have to select from, where, having, group by, etc. If you lose one thing, it's wrong. Here, we have in a semantic, how to say, we are in embeddings. So we are in dimensions of vectors. So if you lose one word, maybe it has no incidence, or less incidence than we can think. So we are prompting an architecture, and we have to think the way the architecture functions for prompting, and to be confident that if I prompt the same sentence in semantic environment and in causal environment, I will not have the same answer, because the structure will capture my text and doing the job for me. Well, and finally, I don't know if it was good, but in my mind, I wanted to start with a semantic analysis. So I structured my question like this. Because I was thinking of causation after that, so I decompose degradation, etc. It was the way I structured it. So the main thing there is prompting is something new to me. So this is the resume of what I did. After Hellixia, there is I Ching. So how do I ask question to I Ching? Well, I turn if I know the book, I go to the page concerning the theme, the theme I had. So I know that it is hexagram 23. If I don't know, if I am lost and I have no idea, I throw my coins and I go to the page. And this is the hexagram 23. So they are all like this. The 64 one, I like this. You have a judgment, so a global appreciation of the situation. You have images, so this is more esoteric, I would say. And you have the lines. So an hexagram is like, you read an hexagram like a vector going from bottom to top. So the first line is at the bottom, the second line, etc. And the structure and the form of the line, yin or yang, will tell you something. So this is here. It is interesting because it relates a story of a bed. The leg of the bed goes wrong, then peeling to the frame, then peeling that well, things went wrong, and then at the end it's okay. I give this if you want to read on the recording later. And this is my first test for semantic analysis with and without. So on the left, this is only Hellixia, so only the LLM. And on the right, it's the LLM with my text. And I have exactly the same thing. So, well, curious. So as in semantic analysis, we can decide the number of nodes we want. So I took 2 words per keyword. I decided to go to 4 words per keyword. And now we have quite the same name, but the structure is different. The semantical structure is different. So it is interesting. So I will keep the semantic one because my topic is to see how the knowledge of I Ching can help me, if it can enhance my strategy way of thinking. And we can see that the graph 1 emphasizes conservative or stabilizing force reflecting a static or resistance system. So that is the way we collectively, through the LLM, we think the strategy. The strategy is static, is something conservative. And here we can see the Chinese way of thinking arising. Adaptive and transformating dynamic, a system more oriented toward change and resilience. So it is very surprising from a short text to see such a difference. We do not see the word acting in the world as the same thing. And so we can see this structural preservation here and the capacity of evolution and renewal, the main thing. Then we can do variable clustering on the semantic analysis. Then we can have clusters and analysis like a meta variable of that. Well, it's just for example. After that, I went to the analysis of semantic, so causal semantic analysis. And I kept the color of my nodes in order to appreciate the difference of richness of information, between the two. You see that a causal pattern is not the same as a semantic one. On the left side, we have no arrows. It is just telling, well, things is next to, the idea is next to. But on the right, you can know that the first thing that occurs is that, and then that, and then that, etc. You can add information on the arrows, on the arcs, that will tell you this acts on that things because of. And when you have the causal structures, BayesiaLab has defined classes. And these classes, so this is, I asked to GPT, Hellixia, the 2 first columns, and then I had my informations. So it's very interesting in terms of structuring the way we think. And then this is the graph on Helix map, the semantic causal graph of the situation. What we can notice is that we have three blocks merging, converging to one. Well, not converging in the sense of the direction of the arrow, but there is something alone in the middle. And what is this? It is a crisis phase. Logical. You have a problem of renewal, etc., etc., and the center of the thing is crisis phase. Among the crisis phase, there is a decline phase, a sudden collapse. Both will convey to the crisis phase, and after the crisis phase, so you can read it literally as a sequence, you will have the strategic withdrawal. And it explains you sudden collapse directly triggers or intensifies the crisis phase. If we want to go deeper, you can have the detail. So there is a lot of variables on the left. So I asked Hellixia to give me a name for a class name for all these nodes. So he told me this is aspects of transformations. Then the crisis phase is there for ensuring swift recovery. So I had asked Hellixia to renew names to generate names to me in order that I found. And sometimes there are things for me that are curious, because crisis is stabilizing organizational resilience. Well, in my mind, it is too late for organizing resilience. It is before that we have to do that. So, and you have the force driving transformation. As a conclusion, the principle of I Ching is that there is an alternate movement between yin and yang. Yin is a force that goes to conservative, that will be conservative as a woman having a baby in her, so she wants to preserve it, a force of preservation. And the yang is a force of creativity, we would say, a force of action. And both always balance and in a kind of equilibrium. And the right way to live it, to have in consideration that in the world, how the world works, and then you adapt to the world in order to, well, you cannot do anything if a big wave is coming on you. The best thing you have is to know the consequences, to know why this happened, and how to treat it, and the consequences it will have. If you can act, you do it. So, Hellixia a fait le job, as we say in France, in French. So, we went from a semantic information to a causal detection in text mining. We show that the I Ching, if it is an oracular book, it is very well structured. Only with one hexagram, we see that the wisdom we have is telling us that in crisis, what is important is to have a system more oriented toward change and resilience than in static things, than in preservation. What I told before, this is not a causal Bayesian network I did. If you want to do that, it is possible with Hellixia. You can have specific tools in order to evaluate the quality of the relationships. And the main key is prompting. So all the basis of our job, well, for me, the basis of what I knew has to be reviewed, has to be rethinking how to ask a question. And this is the basis of the use of I Ching, of reasonable use of I Ching, is learning to ask the question. And it's very interesting to see the convergence here. How do you ask the question? Do you really take the time to, it happens to me to wrote a question, and after thinking of it, my question changed, or after thinking of it, I wrote the sentence in the book. I said, well, it's not, I do not understand at all. And a few days after, I was saying to myself, well, I didn't ask the right question. So what are our questions? The meta question. I don't know if you remember this thing. They are the same. The only thing that changes is the light. So what I see in as a difference between what I call GPT and Co's and the I Ching is that the I Ching gives us space. We have space for thinking. The sentences are bizarre, so they induce reflection. You can take them, you can, well, when you ask ChatGPT, you have the form. You do not have to think about anything else. When I prompt, I am sure that the answer is good. But is my prompt good? What is the architecture behind my prompt? What are the data that gave me? I don't know, but I'm sure. And the main key, as usual, we call of sustainable development. If I had 30 minutes of talk, my brain have consumed 10 watt hours. I don't know how GPT would have consumed in 30 minutes, but, well, a lot more maybe. And this is my conclusion. So we are in strategy, we are facing events. In that events, the only thing we know is the support we choose. So if you have to, it is not in the battle that you have to think about your equipment. It is before. And when you are in, there is no efficient reason you cannot stop the wave. So whatever happens, you will have to have the wave as a partner, good or bad, but it depends. But after, what told us the I Ching, after there will be the resilient time and things will go on again. So it's very positive way seeing the life. Thank you.